Hello guys, welcome to the lecture De Broglie hypothesis and Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Before starting this lecture, I would like to discuss about De Broglie. De Broglie was the second son of a member of French nobility. You will wonder to know that he received his first degree in history. His elder brother was a physicist and made notable contribution to experimental study. His elder brother used to discuss his daily experiment with de Broglie. He was so inspired by his elder brother's work that he started working in physics. In 1924, he completed his PhD in physics from University of Paris. In his thesis, he extended the idea of duality of light to duality of matter and reported that particle has wave nature. At that time, nobody paid attention to his work, but after 5 years, when Davison Germer proved his hypothesis experimentally, then his work was noticed by contemporary scientists and he won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1929. Now we discuss about his hypothesis. As we all know that according to black body radiation, photoelectric effect and Compton effect, all radiations have particle nature. Radiations means light and particle nature means light has momentum, and we know that the momentum of light P equal to E by C, where E is the energy and C is the speed of light, and energy E equal to h nu, where nu frequency equal to C by lambda. If we put the value of nu in energy, then energy E becomes hc by lambda. This is equation 2. From equation 2, we put the value of energy in equation first, then momentum P becomes hc by lambda c. C cancelled with C, so momentum P equal to h by lambda. From here, wavelength lambda equal to h by p, and we know wavelength is the property of wave and p momentum is the property of particle. It means the wave is associated by particle as suggested by de Broglie hypothesis. According to de Broglie hypothesis, every moving particle has a wave associated with it, and the motion of the particle is guided by that wave, and the wavelength of the wave equal to h upon p, where p is the momentum of the particle. This is called de Broglie wavelength. It is applicable for all particles, whether elementary like electron, proton, neutron or any mass, but the waves can only be detected for elementary particles, not for heavy particles. Let us consider an example of a man whose mass is 100 kg and he is running with a speed of 250 meter per second. If we calculate the wavelength of the associated wave, then lambda equal to h upon p. P is mv, m is the mass 100 kg and v speed is the 250 meter per second. And after calculating, we get lambda equal to 0.264 into 10 is power minus 31 meter. It is extremely small and cannot be measured by any instrument. Let us consider an example of an electron moving with a speed of 0.2 c. The wavelength of the wave associated with this electron is h upon mv, and the calculated value is 1.2 into 10 is power minus 11 meter, means 0.12 angstrom. It is small but can be easily detected. Hence, we can say that the matter waves only associated with the microscopic particles can be detected. Now we discuss the different forms of de Broglie wavelength. We know that de Broglie wavelength lambda equal to h upon p. P is the momentum which is equal to mv, so lambda becomes h upon mv. Now de Broglie wavelength for a particle having kinetic energy E. We know that kinetic energy E equal to half mv square or 2 equal to mv square, If we multiply both sides by mass m, then 2m equal to m square v square. We can write it as mv whole square, and we know that mv is momentum p, so p square equal to 2me, hence p equal to root 2me. If we put the value of momentum p in equation A, then the Broglie wavelength becomes h upon root 2me. Similarly, the Broglie wavelength for a charged particle having charge q accelerated through a potential difference of phi volts. We know that the kinetic energy for a charged particle equal to qv. So we put this value of kinetic energy in equation B, then the Broglie wavelength lambda becomes h upon under root 2m qv. Now we calculate the Broglie wavelength for an electron. We know that electron is a charged particle, so we apply the formula lambda equal to h upon under root 2m qv. The charge of the electron is 1.6 into 10 raised power minus 19 coulomb. The mass of the electron is 9.1 into 10 raised power minus 30 kg, and Planck constant h equal to 6.6 into 10 raised power minus 34 joule second. After putting these values in equation C, we get the Broglie wavelength lambda equal to 12.287 upon root v angstrom. This is the value of wavelength only for electron. So we can apply this formula directly, but only for electron. Similarly, the Broglie wavelength for a particle at temperature T, the kinetic energy for that particle is 3 by 2 kT. We put this value of kinetic energy in equation B, then the de Broglie wavelength becomes h upon under root 3m kT. These are the different forms of de Broglie wavelength. Now we discuss about Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It is very important. The whole modern quantum mechanics is based on Heisenberg uncertainty principle and Schrodinger equations. So to understand it, we start with classical mechanics. Classical mechanics is deterministic, means we can determine accurately, or we are very sure. We can find any information about system with precision. For an example, if we consider a particle of mass 2 kg is moving along x direction with acceleration 5 meter per second square and its initial velocity is 0. Now if we want to calculate the position of particle after 2 seconds, then we can calculate its position using the second equation of motion, x equal to ut plus half at square. Similarly, we can calculate its final velocity after 2 seconds using first equation of motion, v equal to u plus at. For momentum, mv. For kinetic energy, half mv square. Means we can determine everything provided initial conditions are given. So in classical mechanics, we can determine everything accurately and simultaneously. This is the deterministic nature for classical mechanics, while quantum mechanics is probabilistic, means we can determine the probability of finding a particle at a point, not exact position. At a point, probability of finding a particle may be 50%, 60%, 80%, 90%, but not exact 100%. In quantum mechanics, a particle is represented by a wave group or a wave packet, and particle may be found anywhere within the wave packet. At this point, the mod psi square means amplitude square is maximum. It means the probability of finding the particle is maximum at this point, and it is minimum at this point, but we cannot sure about the exact position of this particle. The wave packet may be wide or narrow. First we consider the wide wave packet. The particle anywhere in this wave packet from this point to this point. So there is a large uncertainty in the position, means the particle may be at this point, this point, this point, but we are not sure where exactly is the particle. It means there is a large uncertainty in the position, but we can calculate the wavelength exactly up to a certain level. It means there is a small uncertainty in wavelength, and according to de Broglie, wavelength is associated with the momentum. So small uncertainty in wavelength means small uncertainty in momentum. So in wide wave packet there is a large uncertainty in position but small uncertainty in momentum. For narrow wave packet, the particle is in this small range, means there is a small uncertainty in position, but we cannot calculate the wavelength exactly, means there is a large uncertainty in wavelength. It means there is a large uncertainty in momentum. So for narrow wave packet there is a small uncertainty in position but large uncertainty in momentum. From here we can say that if there is small uncertainty in position in momentum, then large uncertainty in position. If there is a small uncertainty in position, then large uncertainty in momentum. From here Heisenberg concluded that it is impossible to determine both position and momentum of a quantum particle simultaneously and accurately. In mathematical expression, delta p into delta x is greater than equal to h cross by 2. H cross is the reduced Planck constant, which is equal to h upon 2 pi, where h is the Planck constant. It is valid for the pair of certain canonical conjugate variables that describes the behavior of an atomic system. Pair of canonical conjugate variables are those variables whose product has the dimensions of action. Action means work into time, and the dimension is ml square t minus 1. Such variables are position momentum, energy time, and angular momentum. These are the three pairs of canonical conjugate variables. In mathematical expressions, delta p delta x is greater than equal to h cross by 2, means position and momentum. Delta e delta t is greater than equal to h cross by t, means energy and time. Delta j delta theta or delta phi is greater than equal to h cross by 2. This is angle and this is angular momentum. Heisenberg uncertainty principle explains many facts which could not be explained by classical mechanics. Some of them are as non-existence of electron in nucleus, finite width of spectral lines, radius of Bohr's first orbit, binding energy of an electron, and the 0 point energy of a harmonic oscillator. Okay guys, thank you.